Time for Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Durling. Thank you for tuning in once more. If you're tuning in for this episode, then you're a Max Webster fan, or at least a Kim Mitchell fan, one of Canada's most utterly unique bands. And I'm a relative newcomer to Max Webster stuff, but I'm really, really liking them. The more I listen, kind of the more I hear. Great musicianship, really quirky, kind of prog, but kind of utterly unique. And they had a very short lifespan. So what I've got is, I think, all of the cassettes that are available from the Max Webster catalog. We'll go over them with you. First album was released in the States under the title Hangover. I've never seen a cassette version of that. U.S. cassettes of Max Webster are not easy to come by. Actually, for that matter, these days, Canadian ones aren't either, especially U.S. ones. So this is the first Max Webster album. And they were on Anthem Records, like Rush. They were very, very intertwined with Rush as far as opening act, being an opening act and things like that. And this version here is a slightly later issue. It's a BMG Direct version, and it's when Anthem Records was under MCA distribution, as it could be evidenced by this here. Also, the cassette itself looks quite different. Next one, I'm going to show you the second Max Webster album. This is one of very few U.S. ones that I've seen. High Class and Borrowed Shoes. They were on Mercury Records in the U.S., as Rush were. That's usually how it worked. Very, very bizarre album cover. Very bizarre. Probably kept them from a lot of mainstream acceptance, which is a shame because the music's really good. There's actually a sticker on the side here, too, with the catalog number on it and things. Back cover there. So, I think I'd be pretty safe to say this is an original. And inside of here, other albums available on Mercury, including the very bottom one, Rush, All the World's a Stage, and those concerts that were recorded. Max Webster opened those 3 shows at Massey Hall that were used for All the World's a Stage. Not that they really sound like Rush, but if you're a Rush fan, I think it'll be on your radar, thanks to one song in particular, especially. Third Max Webster album, when I got this, it was actually still sealed. The nice price sticker on it because Anthem was distributed by CBS in Canada at one time. Most of the 80s, actually. No, sorry, the late 80s till about mid-90s. Before that it was Capitol. So this one's unique that it actually breaks down the songwriting credits for each song. That's what it looks like on the side and on the back here. So it's pretty obvious there's nothing in this anyway. Even if I did open it, there's nothing inside the J card. Next up is the most successful album for Max Webster, A Million Vacations. This contained Paradise Skies and Let Go the Line, their 2 best-known songs. Nothing in the J card. I've had a few cassettes that looked like this. Next one up is a slightly older issue of their live album, Live Magnetic Air. You could tell by the printing on here, it's a pretty old one. Some little customization going on the side here. They did all right in Canada. Still really a cult band, but they did all right. That's what the cassette looked like. Next up is the only other U.S. cassette I've got from Max Webster. This is Universal Juveniles, their final studio album, which came out in 1980. And this is the U.S. edition on Mercury. This contains, the last song on side 1 is Battle Scar, which is actually a collaboration between Max Webster and Rush. If you're a Rush fan and have never heard it, do yourself a favor. As soon as you're done watching this, type in Max Webster Battle Scar and make sure it's studio version and be amazed. It's the best Rush song you've never heard yet if you haven't listened to it. That's what the cassette looks like. Nothing inside here besides information on where to send the cassette if it doesn't work. I doubt you're going to get any results if you send it now. And really nothing else other than to say it was produced by Jack Richardson, who was a legendary Canadian producer. So they broke up sometime in 1981. Kim Mitchell, of course, started a fairly successful solo career in Canada. So Anthem released a best-of called Diamonds, Diamonds with 2 previously unheard songs. And this is a Canadian version of that compilation. This did not come out in the States. And then in 1989, Anthem put out another compilation. I think this is the first time any of their albums became available on CD, and they called it The Best of Max Webster featuring Kim Mitchell. They really wanted to milk the fact that Kim Mitchell was in Max Webster. And there is one song on his debut EP that's on this. This is a pretty good definitive collection. No song titles written on that J card. We'll take that out actually. First of all, I'll show you what the cassette looks like. This is the most readily available thing I think you'll find from Max Webster, listing all the songs and the albums that they came from with the pictures there. Like I said, very quirky. If you're a Kim Mitchell fan to begin with and you never checked out Max Webster, that would be the next logical step. And if you're a Rush fan, I'd check them out too. Or if you just like kind of, I keep using this word quirky, some of it's hard rock, some of it's very keyboardy, but just really good. And the arrangements sometimes don't make any sense, but then they kind of come back into the song, and they are also capable of writing really good, fairly straightforward, concise songs that stick in your head. So I highly recommend checking out Max Webster. That's my cassette collection to theirs. If you want to go back, I did another episode on Max Webster where I talked about their box set, The Party. So you could check that out just on your search bar there. Tim's Final Confessions, Max Webster, even Kim Mitchell should bring it up too. Thank you for watching.